I struggled with routine nightmares as a child. However, I was a firm believer that I couldn't show emotion, even at a young age. Not quite sure where that stemmed from, but I suppose that's ultimately not important. I remember often having dreams that I was being watched. One in particular stands out. I was walking through the woods with several pairs of eyes following me. It was terrifying. Have you ever been watched for hours on end by creatures in the dark? Even thinking about it now makes me feel uneasy. Sometimes when I woke from a dream, I would break my tough guy facade and quietly cry to myself. Well, I thought it was quiet. It never failed to wake my dad. He's always there for me, softly saying, "It's okay, I'm here. Go to sleep, buddy." Now let me clarify. I loved my dad, with all my heart. But this was the only time I'd ever seen my dad. He was a very busy man. He left for work before I woke up and came back after I fell asleep. I never bothered to ask what he did. The reassuring, "Go to sleep, buddy," was all I needed from him. The nightmares continued up to when I was about 13. I remember what was going on in the world around that time. Bush was just re-elected for president. Fall Out Boy was very popular. I even remember what was on the local news. A creep had been arrested for breaking and entering. But as we all know, everyone still has a bad dream every now and then. I had one about 6 months later. The only difference is that my dad didn't come that night, which made me cry even harder. I wish he would have come. "Go to sleep, buddy," I told myself. "Go to sleep, buddy." The morning following that restless night, I groggily asked my mum about my dad's whereabouts last night. My mum donned a very serious face as if she was going to cry. And it was then, at the age of 14, that I learnt my father died in a car wreck shortly before I was born. She was waiting until I was old enough to ask for myself what happened to him. She was terrified when I explained that for my entire life my dad has been reassuring me after a nightmare. She called the police and I gave a statement. Turns out, that guy that was arrested had a cycle of houses he broke into. Our house, he admitted, was on the list. He sat in prison for 10 years, I think it was. Now I'm a sophomore in college. I have a private dorm. I had a terrible nightmare last night. I ran through a huge, crowded, busy street. Everyone had blurry faces, all except their eyes. Every single pair bore into me like musket balls. I woke up in a cold sweat. I turned to face the wall. And it was then when I heard a familiar voice of my father, telling me, "Go to sleep, buddy."